Hello everyone, let's talk about femoral sheath and femoral hernia today. So in this diagram what we see is the inguinal ligament which is extending from the anterior superior leg spine to the pubic tubercle. From the posterior surface of this we can see there's an extension, and that extension goes on to the pecten pubis and forms the lacunar ligament. So this triangular ligament here is the lacunar ligament. We can see the nerves and the vessels going out from this region into the thigh. Here what we are seeing is iliacus muscle and the psoas major muscle, and we can see that it is covered by a fascia here which is called the iliac fascia. And anteriorly, deep to the anterior abdominal wall muscles, we will have the fascia transversalis. So we have to appreciate the fact that this is the place where the anterior abdominal wall, the posterior abdominal wall and the thigh meets. So they are meeting at the inguinal ligament. Now if you see the anterior abdominal wall, here we can see the muscles which are forming the anterior abdominal wall. So first, the outermost muscle that we see here is the external oblique muscle and its aponeurosis, and the inferior free margin of this external oblique aponeurosis rolls inwards to form the inguinal ligament. Now here we can see that the external oblique muscle has been cut, and what we see here is the rectus abdominis muscle. On both the sides of the midline we can see the rectus abdominis muscle. Then deeper to this external oblique muscle we have the internal oblique, and deeper to an internal oblique muscle we have the transversus abdominis muscle. Now this is again the anterior abdominal wall. We can see the cut edges of the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall. Here we have the cut edge of the external oblique, the cut edge of the internal oblique muscle, the cut edge of the transversus abdominis, and deep to that this greenish layer that you see, that's the fascia transversalis. And deep to this fascia transversalis we have the extraperitoneal fat and then peritoneum, the parietal peritoneum, and deeper to this parietal peritoneum we can see the lobes of the intestine lying in the peritoneal cavity. So if we take a section through this, now we can see the external oblique, the internal oblique, the transversus abdominis, the fascia transversalis, the extraperitoneal fat and the peritoneum. And here what we are seeing are the vessels. Here this femoral vein will continue as the external iliac vein. The external iliac artery will continue as the femoral artery here. Now that was the anterior abdominal wall. Now here we have the posterior abdominal wall. So in the posterior abdominal wall we can see the psoas major muscle, here the psoas minor. Lateral to this psoas major muscle we have the quadratus lumborum, and lateral to that we have the transversus abdominis muscle. Here lower down we have the iliacus muscle. Now all these muscles are also covered by a fascia which is called the fascia iliaca in this region. Now why we are talking about this fascia iliaca and fascia transversalis? Because these are the fascia which will be forming the femoral sheath. So imagine that this fascia, this iliacus muscle here and this region here is all covered by fascia iliaca. So in this picture we can see the psoas major muscle here, the psoas major and the iliacus muscle here, and it is covered by a fascia which is the iliaca, fascia iliaca or the iliac fascia. And here we can see this is the inguinal ligament. Deep to this deep to the anterior abdominal wall we have the fascia transversalis. So fascia iliaca posteriorly and fascia transversalis anteriorly, they are coming together at this point, that is the deep to the inguinal ligament. So through this this will form a sheath which is called the femoral sheath. The two fascia, the anterior and the posterior layer, the anterior layer will be the fascia transversalis and the posterior layer will be the fascia iliaca. So that will form a funnel shaped femoral sheath here through which the vessels will be passing through. Now in this diagram what we are seeing is the anterior abdominal wall and the lower part of the posterior abdominal wall here. So here we have skin, superficial fascia, external oblique, the aponeurosis of the external oblique, which is thickening and rolling inwards to form the inguinal ligament here. Then we have the internal oblique muscle and the transversalis fascia. Deep to the transversalis fascia we have the fascia transversalis, and posteriorly we can see the iliacus muscle and the fascia iliaca. So it's like a sac. All the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall and the posterior abdominal wall, they are lined by this fascial sac, and deep to this fascial sac will be the extraperitoneal fat, and then we will have the peritoneum. So this is at a point, this section is at a point lateral to the femoral sheath. Now if we go to the next picture here, this is a section passing through the femoral vein. So we can see the fascia transversalis here, that is lying anteriorly, and fascia iliaca here posteriorly. Now here is the inguinal ligament. Now this femoral vein is continuing as the external iliac vein. The femoral artery will be passing lateral to this femoral vein, and that is a continuation of the external iliac artery. So these vessels, this will be taking this sac down along with it. So here the fascia transversalis, you can see it's going down, going under the inguinal ligament, and then going down here and merging with the adventitia of the vessels. So posteriorly also we can see the fascia iliaca going down and passing under this inguinal ligament, going down and getting and merging with the adventitia of the vessels. So this funnel shaped structure here is the femoral sheath, which is formed by these two fascia. So there are structures passing through this femoral sheath. One is femoral vein, then lateral to that will be the femoral artery and the femoral branch of the genitofemoral nerve, and medial to this femoral vein is the femoral canal. It's a space. Now in this picture we can see the femoral artery, which is lying laterally. Along with this we will have the femoral branch of the genitofemoral nerve. Here we have the femoral vein, that is in the intermediate compartment, and the medial most compartment is the femoral canal. This will have just some amount of fatty tissue and a small lymph node, deep inguinal lymph node, and lymph vessels. So this is almost an empty space into which the femoral vein can expand. So this space is called the femoral canal. It is the medial most compartment in the femoral sheath. So you can appreciate in this picture that the anterior abdominal wall, the posterior abdominal wall, they have come together here and meeting with the thigh. So this is the region where these three structures, that is the anterior abdominal wall, posterior abdominal wall, and the thigh, are meeting. And here we have the femoral sheath. And femoral sheath, as we said, it is formed anteriorly by the fascia transversalis and posteriorly by the fascia iliaca, and it's around 4 centimeters in length. Okay, in this picture what we are seeing here is the fascia transversalis anteriorly, fascia iliaca posteriorly, and the three compartments of the femoral sheath. Here we have the lateral most compartment, in which you can see the femoral artery and the femoral branch of the genitofemoral nerve, the intermediate compartment in which we have the femoral vein, and the medial most compartment, that is the femoral canal, and the opening of this femoral canal is called the femoral ring. So this femoral ring is bounded anteriorly by the inguinal ligament, medially by the lacunar ligament, posteriorly by the pecten pubis, and the lower down when we go the femoral canal, it will be lying over the fascia which is covering the pectineus muscle, and laterally the boundary of the femoral ring is the femoral vein, the septum, which is dividing the femoral sheath into three compartments here. So laterally we have the femoral vein, anteriorly we have the inguinal ligament, medially we have the lacunar ligament, and posteriorly we have the pecten pubis, and lower down it will be the fascia covering the pectineus. So if we see it anteriorly, this is the front of the thigh. Here we have the inguinal ligament, and we have the common iliac artery coming here, dividing into external and the internal iliac artery. So the external iliac artery is continuing down as the femoral artery. Then we have the femoral vein here, and the medial most compartment, the femoral canal. So this opening is called the femoral ring. Here we can see a small lymph node, which is the lymph node of Cloquet or the Rosenmuller's lymph node. Lymph vessels and fatty tissue will be there in this. So when this vein is expanding, it can expand into this space here. Here we can see the femoral sheath and the two layers, the fascia transversalis and the fascia iliaca, they will merge with the adventitia of the vessels. So this here is the great saphenous vein, which is draining into the femoral vein. Over this we have the cribriform fascia. So in this we can see the femoral sheath here. This will go down below this great saphenous vein, draining into the femoral vein, and will merge with the adventitia of the vessels. So in this region, this is the saphenous opening, and it will be covered by the cribriform fascia. So this region here is the femoral ring and lower down femoral canal. So in conditions where there is increased intra-abdominal pressure, the contents of the abdomen will weigh down on this inguinal ligament and will increase the space between the hip bone and the inguinal ligament. So it will widen the opening of this femoral ring. Inguinal ligament, as we know, is forming the anterior boundary of this femoral ring. So this site acts as a potential site of weakness. So through this site, the contents of the abdomen can escape out into this femoral canal, and that is called femoral hernia. Since this saphenous opening is here, so the loop of the intestine will escape out into this femoral canal, and then through the saphenous opening it will come out into the thigh region. It will push the cribriform fascia and then come out into the thigh region, and the direction of the hernia will be superolaterally. So it will come out, it will enter the femoral ring here, it will go down in the femoral canal. At the saphenous opening, it will come out into the thigh, and then into superolaterally it will extend. So if we see this picture here, this is the loop of the intestine which has escaped out of this femoral ring. It has come out into the thigh region, and the direction will be superolateral. So in case we want to reduce this hernia, we will have to first push it back into the saphenous opening, then into the femoral canal, and then back into the abdominal cavity. But sometimes what happens is this femoral ring, this is a very narrow ring here, and the loop, when it has come out, the vessels of this loop of intestine may get compressed, and the loop of intestine which has come out as hernia can get strangulated and undergo gangrene. And then if it undergoes gangrene, it can rupture, and a lot of complications can be there. So we have to reduce this hernia back into the abdominal cavity. Now to reduce this, if during the surgery we may have to cut open this lacunar ligament, which is the medial boundary of the femoral ring. Now this artery here, which you can see, is the abnormal obturator artery, which may lie along this lacunar ligament. So we have to be careful about this abnormal obturator artery, which may be found in about 30% of the cases. This abnormal obturator artery has to be taken care of and has to be kept in mind while cutting this lacunar ligament, because the hemorrhage from this can be fatal. So this was about the femoral sheath and the femoral hernia. I hope this was useful. Thank you.